We're here with Vickie Guerrero. Vickie.
I love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
It's so cool.
What's the haps?
What's the what?
What's the haps?
It's Summerslam.
Yes, it is.
Here in LA. I mean, we're having a great time. Get to meet you guys and
Right.
be here. And
Touch
spend
my
time.
hair.
Oh man, rar.
Wonderful.
Yes.
You really are a cougar.
Yes.
It's amazing what you've done because you come in with kind of no experience. You know, obviously the business is in your family with Eddie, but, you know, and you become maybe the most hated bad guy in the company.
Maybe it's from watching Eddie so many times in the living room do promos and watch Eddie and him be the bad guy. But yeah, it's been a great ride.
Well, because it's unique because most of the time when a bad guy is doing a great job, you got to turn him into a good guy because the fans like what they're doing so much they start cheering. But you have managed to maintain the disdain of the audience just by one phrase, excuse me.
I know it's been really crazy how it's been 6 years that they've
Yeah.
hated me, and I'm blessed because a lot of people can't keep that heat going, but I really try and I do believe in my character, and so when I go out there it means a lot to me, and I take it seriously, and I don't just take it by a fly by night, well, I'll just try this. I really try and be that character and be that authority figure, and it's not hard, and then I get to make out with guys and I get to slap guys. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a day at the office.
Who's your favorite person that you've gotten to make out with?
Edge.
Edge, over Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Maybe because he was just my first crush, and Edge was just a truly a help to me, in my career. I mean, he actually sat down and really just taught me through the philosophy, and he showed me so many things,
And he never seemed afraid to slip the tongue either. He didn't seem, I'm only watching on television, but it didn't seem like he was to me.
Edge truly played his character really well, and so I didn't mind.
Well, you were playing your character too.
Yeah, Dolph was too worried about stealing the show and, having the camera on him.
Right.
Edge let me share the camera view with him, and so I think that meant more to me.
It was romantic.
Yeah, and then he went with the little, AJ Playgirl Barbie,
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
I dumped him a long time ago.
Left a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, he
It's also difficult for you. I don't know if there was ever any thought put into this, but for you to be a widow to somebody who's so beloved by the fans, did you come in thinking like, yeah, we'll make her into a heel? Like, that seems like on paper an impossible undertaking.
Yeah, it was just for me to come in for 2 months to help, Rey Mysterio with the storyline. And, and it was just something that Vince Vincent Mann said, we just need you for 2 months, kind of bring that tribute back to Eddie, and then we'll be done. But then when they started kind of experimenting with things, and they could see that I could memorize lines and I wasn't scared of the camera. And then when they knew that I could take a tombstone from Undertaker and they knew that,
She has it all.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we could use you, so let's go ahead and, try a contract. And I'm like, oh gosh, and I didn't want to insult the company.
Right.
Because they, this is WWE, and I just wanted to do my part and leave. But then, a year went into 2 years, and then, they started letting me, be a general manager, and then to work with Edge, and then have the wheelchair gimmick, where, then it's been a ride.
Was the tombstone the first bump that you took?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
I mean,
You loved it?
I loved it. I mean,
Wow.
but Undertaker was so gentle. I mean, he just, he taught me through everything, and he was just, it was a high anyway just to be able to work with him.
Yeah.
And I remember it was in Tampa, Florida, and it was just, it was amazing, and before I knew it was over with, and I'm like, can we do it again? Because it was so great.
What's the most painful bump that you've had to take?
The most painful one was with Rey Mysterio. I was in the wheelchair, and he did the 619, the West Coast pop off the top rope and landed on me, and I flipped out of the wheelchair, and I was a little sore the next day. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this or not, but
You're just a lady before this. Like, you were just some lady.
yeah, they told me just don't wear a dress that night, okay? And I was like, it's gonna be that bad, isn't it? And they're like, yeah, it's not gonna be very good.
Has there ever been something you were like, no, I'm not gonna do that?
Well, those two were the ones I didn't think I was ever gonna do. But
You were like, no, I'm not gonna. And they were like, yeah, you are.
yeah, but these guys are so great,
Yeah.
and for Ray to sit down and talk to me, and we went through it, with a crash pad, and and then Undertaker, to just for them to guide me and be side by side and say, hey, this is how it's gonna feel, and everyone just kind of pitched in, and showed me how to fall and bump.
Was there any transition to figuring out that it's okay for people to hate you, or were you so familiar with it because of Eddie that you were like, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here?
Well, it was different because, as a wife, you're the encourager. You're like, it's okay, babe. Don't worry. They hate you because they love you. And so I was more of the comforter. Just don't worry about it. But then when it happened to me, I had to learn to have a thick skin. And it was really hard because I can't take everything personal, especially on my Twitter. I have so much hate mail, and the great thing is I can block them. And that was like the power I had. Like, oh yeah, I'll show you, and you're blocked. But it's all.
But then it's like if you're getting too much Twitter love, you're like, I'm not supposed to be loved this much.
Yeah, but it is a lot of love-hate relationship. But I really try and show the fans that I am this other person. When I'm not in the ring, and I'm a mom. And I run a house, and I have my own business. And
is that difficult? Like when people see you on the street with your kids, are they able to separate you from the person you play on television?
Sometimes, or else my kids can give them a dirty look, and then I'm like, okay, guys, that's enough.
The kids are defensive.
Yeah, they're like, hey, that's my mom, But we all kind of, it grows on you, But we know that it's as long as they kind of do it, then I'll let them pass, and then it's done, it's fine. But sometimes it can be over excessive, where I have to kind of say, all right, guys, I'm not at work right now, I'm just gonna have some time, for my family, and most of them are pretty cool about it.
And they kind of understand that you're not in an arena.
Yeah, just walk away.
Yeah,
that's the best thing. Just walk away.
Did the guys in the locker room because you got a lot of TV time and you still get a lot of TV time? Did the guys immediately kind of get what was going on and were okay with it, or at first was there like, she's not a wrestler, what is she doing?
I'm sure there was a lot of talk, backstage, and I did feel some of the conflict, with some of the superstars. But I think once they got to know me, that I'm just like this funny person backstage, and when it came to working with them, I gave them my 100%. So I showed everyone that when I work with you, I'm going to give you everything I have. So I gained their respect, to know that it's not about me, it's about making this whole storyline a success. And so I think I gained that respect backstage from everyone.
Who told you to start saying excuse me? Was that you?
No, that was me, because one night I had like a 2-page promo, and somewhere in the middle of it I just forgot where I was at. Like I just lost my track, and I kind of stood there and I just said excuse me, and the crowd just like whipped this hatred on me.
Because that's what everyone's teacher told them in class. Like that's every teacher, when the kids are talking, they excuse me.
Yeah. And so when I told them to shut up, they were just like, they didn't like it. So I kind of paused and did it again. And that gave me time to kind of refocus to where I was at in my promo, and I finished it. But then the writers were like, hey, let's just try this again. But they had me do it when I came out to just tell the crowd right off the bat, excuse me. And it's been a hit ever since.
Yeah, really. Like to the point where you say it before you even come out now.
Yeah.
Like, here we go.
Oh, yeah. And it's fantastic,
You've never seemed nervous on camera or, in front of 20, 30, 40,000 people.
Bless you.
Are you terrified?
You always get the butterflies, and especially if I have lines to memorize or something to have that timing, to work with a guy, you always worry about that. You want to do your best, but I put it in God's hands, and I always say a prayer before I go out, but I love, once I go out,
you always say a prayer before you go out that you will be able to infuriate these people without anything getting in your way.
Hate me. Yeah. But it's even funny, but I don't think they're that loud. I'm like, God, they didn't hate me that much tonight. What a boring night.
I need more. Yeah, my skin is thick enough that I can handle this now.
But there's that adrenaline. When you have your countdown, they're saying 5, 4, you're supposed to walk out. I just get like that rush, and then I'm okay after I walk out there. We
were talking to The Miz yesterday about one of his first times out there, when he just completely forgot everything and he had numbers written on his hand, but it was sweating and it was a disaster. Do you have any moments that have gone that disastrous? I don't remember any.
There's times you kind of, what the worst part is when the crowd doesn't let me talk. I have this huge promo, there's a time limit, and every time I put the mic to my hand, they'll start yelling so loud that the TV will tell me don't talk because they're so loud that the microphone's not going to pick it up. And there was one time that me and John Cena were doing a promo, and he started laughing with them because every time I started to talk, I had to just stop. Yeah. And then it was like 8 times, and we went back and forth, and he was just like, just go, just get out of here. And that was really nerve-wracking for me because I never got to finish my promo.
Yeah. Do you enjoy performing more, or do you enjoy watching? Did you enjoy watching, a loved one perform, Eddie?
Well, of course, I was, the wife that, stayed home, and I loved it,
Right.
especially when Eddie came on. That was like our highlight, to watch what he was going to do. But to perform, that's my high now.
Right.
I love it. I love being in the ring. I love to work with, especially the McMahons. That's like just an ultimate high for me. But once you get me in that ring, I'm good to go.
What's the favorite thing that you've gotten to do? Aside from getting tombstoned, of course.
Getting fired by Stephanie McMahon.
You loved that.
It was awesome. When I climbed on that table and I was going to attack her, she was like, "What were you thinking?" I'm like, "I was going to attack you."
So in your head now, you're just going, like, you're in the place where you're comfortable enough to just say, I'm just going to go crazy.
Yeah, and we always rehearse it, because we had to, do that. But when it comes out even better and I feel it more out there, they love how I just kind of take over. And I always want to give my 110%.
Yeah.
So it's a high for me to try and exceed that next time to be better than the last time.
Is there any? Has there ever been any scariness with the fans? Because the thing about being like a real bad guy like you are is like these people get genuine hatred. Has there been any scary moments, or is everybody kind of figured out?
I've had a couple of fans follow me home, where I've had to kind of take a different turn.
Yeah.
Or the fans will rock the car as we're driving out of the driveway. We have the great security of the arena, who just like kind of stands there. But other than that, it's been good. A few death threats on Twitter, but you can block them.
Right. Yeah, death threat on Twitter is like.
I'm still here.
Right. What are you tweeting for? Yeah, it is weird though that like pro wrestling is kind of the only thing. A lot of people have trouble separating what's going on television from reality. And maybe that's because the character Vickie Guerrero has the same name as the person Vickie Guerrero.
Yeah, and it's really important for me to meet the fans on the sidewalk and fan access and to be able to talk here, because it's a fictional character, and I'm not like that in real life.
Do your children watch you?
Sometimes, we really try when it's home. We try and separate work from home. So I don't think they see me because they don't ask if I got, when I get hit or something, are you okay? So I know they're not watching me. And I'm like, hey, I'm good. It's all right, guys.
How often are you on the road? Do you just do like the Monday TV or Monday and Tuesday?
House shows. So we'll leave on Fridays and I get home on Wednesday and then home.
So you're on the full schedule.
Yeah. So I'm home for 2 days and go out on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty busy, but I love it.
Yeah. And then you get home and you're with your kids and your family and you're like, you got your own world going on.
My oldest one's getting ready to go into the Orlando at the Performance Center.
She is.
And my little one goes to school at college. So I'm 1 out of 2. I mean, it's good. I only take one out on the road right now.
It's in the blood, though. It's in the blood.
I know she's gonna end up kicking my butt.
Well, Vickie, I appreciate you talking. You're a pleasure, not in the arena, but here with me. You're a pleasure.
It's nice meeting you.
You too.
Love your hair.
Thank you.